I wish you happy holidays. I know many of you are celebrating this weekend. Some of you have already been celebrating. Uh, and then I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds. Yeah, today I will talk about plastics. Oh, for some reason have I can get rid of this highlight. And specifically single-use plastics and the federal government banning checkout bags, cutlery, food serviceware, store sticks, and straws. And I would like to hear some of your thoughts and some solutions. Um, why this is a huge deal, um, and counter some of the arguments that banning plastic items is small, while at the same time acknowledging that we need to do a lot more than just banning single-use plastics. Um, we do need to address the consumption cultural that hasn't that hasn't been addressed. Um, so first, I'll talk about what what's happening. 2 days ago, the federal government banned the import of plastic checkout bags, cutlery, food serviceware, store sticks, and straws, with some exceptions if they're not packaged. Uh, if the flexible straw is not packaged with the drink. Um, and for disabilities as well. Um, and I don't see anyone in the chat. And then there's some other dates. Wing carriers. There's a lot of images of wildlife, of animals caught in six pack wings. Um, and there was a huge viral video of a sea turtle with a straw up its nose. I think that was 2019, which caused a lot of restaurants to ban straws and increase the no straw movement. Chocolate bags, they entangle animals as well. And then those next year, there will be a ban on the sale. And then in 2025, there will be a ban on manufactured import and sale for export. Um, and then in 2024, there will be a ban on the sale of wing carriers and flexible straws packaged with beverage containers. Um, and yeah, and I've seen a lot of restaurants initially ban straws. They switched to compostable straws, which have not had a good value. And not had good evidence that they're actually effective, and paper straws. So there's still um, single use items are still getting into the environment, and anything that's labeled compostable. There's a lot of questions like will it compost um, in the environmental conditions um, outside of the laboratory, and a lot of the times it doesn't. So there's a problem with that. And then also we do have to be mindful of people with disabilities as well, as wildlife. But yeah, some of these like chocolate bags, yeah, we don't really need them. There are some issues with resources used for, like, if there was a life cycle analysis done, those issues around how many times you have to reuse a bag before it becomes um, before it has a positive environmental impact, or less of an impact. Um, and then there was a CBC article that talked about like how somebody is overrun with Walmart bags. It could be any bag, any chocolate bag. Um, yeah, so we do have to reduce consumption as well. I see that I have one person watching, so welcome. Thank you. Feel free to comment. I would like to hear how you feel about the bands. Any solutions that you've taken up. Um, so yeah, I'll look at um, Opal Peterborough green dishes. Um, so this is one solution. Oh, yeah, I guess I can scroll down. And full disclosure, I am a board member of Opal Peterborough in Nodrong. Um, green dishes helps reduce single use cutlery, plates, and it's a lending program for community events, weddings, anything that you'd use dishes for. Um, and then there was some notes. It was paused for the as a result of the pandemic restrictions, um, but it's coming back, which I think is a good thing. And those other organizations that have similar programs. Um, I've noticed it at events. At I don't think they used the Green Dish program, but they might have used a different program. But the Folk Fest, uh, they're good at reducing plastic, reducing waste by having plates. Um, and that's a festival in the summertime. They had very little garbage, at least where I was sitting. And it's at the um, um, what's that park called? Starts with Nicholas Oval Park. I have a bit of something in my throat. Um, so that's um, so those like a visible like um difference, and I've been to like events where plat there's no program like this, and garbage bins are full. There's little on the ground, and it's a huge eyesore, and it deters people from going to these events potentially because they don't like looking at. They might not like looking at the plastic pollution, and there's an impact on wildlife, which I'll get into. Some restaurants are doing similar lending programs. Trent University used to have a program where people would pay a little bit extra to have a takeout container. Um, they ended up because of the pandemic, and you don't really need to. There was a lot of scientists um, that said that a lot of the uh, cutbacks to environmental programs didn't need to happen. Um, Unfortunately, they did, and they resulted in increased plastic pollution. Um, those, let's see, let's see. Though I found a plastic-free events guide. This is in Australia, so it's not exactly relevant to the Canadian context. But there was a lot of useful information because plastic pollution happens globally. Um, the guide says that like it talks about like what the problem is, and then those Australian specific statistics, fragmentation into small pieces. So wildlife ingests small and small animals. Um, there's an impact on over 700 species. Half of marine turtles have eaten plastic. That's one of the animals that started the anti-straw movement. All not started it, but like amplified it. Was a turtle with a straw, um, and 90% of seabirds have eaten plastic. Um, so those arguments about income as well, business interests. People support it. People looking for eco-friendly businesses. Um, yeah, so and I'll get into like the species degradation, species decline, because it was a Canadian study. Um, And then those landfill, those issues with landfill capacity, but um, not exactly, because plastics don't take up a lot of space, but they last a long time. So these are some of the principles of any event. So I'll list them. So inform and educate, identify waste disposal options, being little free, clear signage and support, data collection and evaluation, as well as promotion. So they say inform and educate. Um, uh, so identifying expectations, um, like from suppliers, staff, volunteer, in order to avoid single-use plastics. So if you have an event, like, tell them, educate them all about the importance of using plastic, some of the alternatives, um, what the impacts on wildlife all why you're hosting the event. um, yeah, and then identify. Um, so so identify means identifying the items that should be avoided or replaced. Um, having a reusable or a compostable um, option. Um, and then manage the collection of discarded material, or avoid having materials that need to be discarded in the first place, like with uh, reusable items. It says container refund schemes, um, drink container collection. Um, Leaving the site in the same condition as it was found. Having clear signage. Um, Arranging volunteers to monitor bins. 1 year, the Purple Onion Festival attempted to do this. Waste streams, or having waste streams planned and serviced. Um, Data collection, that's very important. And then this way you can look back on previous years and see how things have improved or not improved. Promote. Um, yeah, and then it says like the guidelines in practice as well. And then yeah, so I'll see if I can find the ocean wise. Hopefully I can find it. Oh, maybe it. Oh, that's something else. If not, I can find it again. It's just going to be a second. I should have had less tags open, but I guess I had too many tabs open. But let's see. Ocean, Great Canadian Shoreline, great. So this is from the World Wildlife Foundation. Um, um, it's looking at the. Oh, do you see this? So they looked at the what volunteers have picked up, um, and these are individual items. In 2020, cigarette butts, tiny plastic or foam, food wrappers, paper, bottle caps, beverage cans, plastic bottles, plastic bags, other packaging, coffee cups, straws, and foam. And in terms of items that might be banned, I didn't see plastic bottles. I think those should be there should be restrictions on those, but plastic bags, 8,052. Um, straws, 5,289. Tiny plastic, 77,705. Um, and This collected 44,592 styrofoam pieces uh, in 2021, 16,971 plastic bags, 12,480 plastic straws, with fewer volunteers um, due to the pandemic. And percent is misleading, as waste is measured by weight and not volume or impact on the environment. Um, yeah. And then Ontario Nature has an article called "A Plastic Problem: Impacts of Single-Use Plastic on the Environment," and I'll pull that up. Um, oh, impacts of and maybe Ontario Nature will. Yeah, here it is. um, so the article says that only 9% of plastic is recycled in Canada, and then the rest ends up in landfills or is littered on all lands and waters. 3 million tons of plastic is in landfills. Um, Um, and then I also read that Lake Ontario has more concentration of plastic pollution than the Great Garbage Patch. I read that somewhere. I forget where it was, but that's eye opening. How um, that's very eye opening. Um, the plastic debris kills wildlife from being tangled or in ingestion. Um, and then there's toxic chemicals, uh, bisphenol A being one of them that impacts people. And plastic is made from fossil fuels as well, so they have a climate impact. Um, um, and it's 12.5 to 13.5 million metric tons of carbon dioxide. Um, and it's like about 3 to 5% of uh, the global greenhouse gases. So a sizable amount is related to plastic. And then, it's saying that by 2050, single use plastics are projected to account for 10% of the worldwide greenhouse gas emissions. Um, and then at the end of the article, it's saying that you can buy clothing made from natural materials like cotton, rather than synthetic plastic based materials like polyester or nylon. Bring your own bags to the grocery store, even for produce. Buy in bulk when possible. Reduce your plastic use in the kitchen by using glass or ceramic containers. Use reusable water bottles rather than plastic disposable ones. Um, yeah. Uh, I see a chat, so thank you for the chat. It looks like an advertisement. But I appreciate the awful. I don't think in the I'm not in the position to accept offers at this moment. Um, I'm starting out, but I appreciate that. Um, yeah. So and then there was also like um, the holidays coming up on the weekend. I know it's a bit late to talk about uh, gifts, but instead of using wrapping paper, you can use like towels. Um, and then instead of using uh, ribbon, you can use string, like rope. And there's lots of things that you can do. Giving experiential gifts rather than physical gifts. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, and Peterborough, the city of Peterborough also has um, a refillable truck. Oh, where is my uh, events um, for waddle? And it's used a lot in the summertime. And they're hiring someone specifically regarding events. I don't know if I haven't seen that posted, but they're hiring um, soon. Um, there was a science assessment regarding the need to ban plastics called the Science Assessment of Plastic Pollution. This is a requirement under the Environmental Protection Act, and then as well as international law due to trade agreements. And I'm not too familiar with international, but it's on some some of it in one of my classes, um, and it's saying that you can't just ban things uh, without giving reason. Um, there has to be like a reason to ban stuff, and it's more than that. But yeah, so I'll put it on the screen so you have something to look at. So yeah, this is the front page, and then I'm just going to go to the executive summary. Um, yeah, so there was a the executive summary said that 1% of plastic enters the environment, or 29,000 tons of plastic. And then this shows that like percentages are misleading, as 29,000 tons is a large amount, and it's a cumulative impact each year as well. 86% of plastic gets landfilled, 4% is incinerated, 9% is the report shows that there was a lack of evidence of oxidogradable plastics. And then page 9. Page 9. And then, as I stated earlier, like single-use plastic make up the bulk of macroplastics, which is greater than 5 millimeters, and it can be shown in shoreline cleanups. Um, and then page 12. Um, in the global context, Guile et al. 2017 have estimated that only 30% of all plastics ever produced are still in use. And then page 50. I'll just type in page 50. So this is the impacts on environmental health. Um, And it's saying in 2016, the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity reported that 817 marine species had been affected by marine litter. 80% of that is plastic. Entanglement is a huge issue. Um, um, and that's caused by lost fishing gear, plastic bags, which is one of the items, and that can cause death um, for a lot of wildlife. And people have probably seen like movies reference this. Um, and then um, there was occurrences of entanglement for 30,896 individuals from 243 species. 79% were linked to direct harm or mortality, so death. Um, and then the majority involved plastic rope and netting. Um, so I didn't see anything regarding fishing gear. Um, um, but there was talk about like plastic bags being one of the causes of entanglement. Large plastics such as bags can also cover plants, affecting photosynthesis. Um, so vegetation. Um, and then they're saying that this is smothering. Um, and then they did studies on this with LDPE um, or LDPE. I'm not sure if it was pipes, but they represented plastic bags. It's just um, and then ingestion. Times plastic is mistaken for food, or prey has ingested plastic. Um, um, and plastic ingestion has been recorded in 50.4% of marine mammal species, 40.4% of seaboard species, and 100% of turtle species. Um, and then some of the problems are blockage to intestinal systems, preventing feeding. Those habitat integrity impacts. Um, they can stress ecosystems. They can transport different chemicals, um, absorption, um, different distribution of wildlife. And then they talk about microplastic, uptake ingestion, and I don't know what egestion is. I didn't have time to read this entire uh, report, but those a lot of impacts. And then those human impacts, I think those. See what other titles they have. Those ecotoxological effects. Um, and I think there was like a summary. There should be a summary chart at the near the end. So, oh, findings. Maybe on in findings. Why is it going down? I recall seeing a finding. I mean a summary of the impacts somewhere. Maybe the technical. Okay, so there's some technical definitions. Um, yeah, yeah. So those some of the reasoning, some of the background. I know that environmental defense has resources on this topic. The Canadian Environmental Law Association, as well. Those are some other resources. And then Zero Waste Canada, um, that's good. And we should also talk about like the importance of reducing the amount of recycling waste as well. We should start thinking about reducing all waste, um, because those resources that go into recycling. Um, and yeah, and then another major topic is is the Greenbelt, the results of the consultation. Um, um, about 30,000 people made comments on the environmental registry, which usually doesn't happen. I don't know when the last time 30,000 people made comments on the environmental registry, but it's usually like something very controversial. The results of consultation resulted in no changes, even though most of the comments were against reducing the green belt, developing on the green belt, and this is from like conservation authorities, as the public, a lot of experts weighed in, and the government is not budging. But that's a topic for another day. And yeah, I don't really see engagement from the chat on plastics. Um, but I thank anyone who has listened, and um, yeah, I guess I can show some of what I have done to reduce plastics. I I like packing the lunch helps reduce plastic, so you're not as tempted to buy something while you're out. So I'm starting to do that. Tupperware containers, using cloth instead of um, what's it called? Plastic film. Saran wrap, instead of saran wrap, cloth works fine in a lot of cases. You can also get like beeswax. A lot of products you likely already have in your home, so you don't necessarily need to buy like new items. Some of the items uh, you can repurpose to fit your needs. Um, so those are some of the main things. And then I got some mesh bags for vegetables. When I go grocery shopping, and those bins as well. But a lot of grocery stores no longer give out plastic bags, so that's a plus. And then as I said earlier, I support like the free market, and um, as a board member, um, and of OPOG and Ontario Public Interest Research Group, as well as green dishes. Those are two big programs. And then there does need to be systematic change in consumption habits. Um, yeah, and I don't want to. I also don't want to give the impression that like um, this is the only thing that we should be like these actions are enough. Like there definitely needs to be more action on climate change and plastic pollution. But I want to make the case that it's not something that's small and insignificant. These are massive numbers. A lot of wildlife is being impacted. Um, um, yeah, so I'll sign off for now and enjoy the rest of your holidays. And I will probably talk about the lack of consultation um, on the future stream regarding the Greenbelt and Bill 23 more in depth. And yeah, bye for now.